So in this video, I'm going to show you how to draw a curved glass roof using a curtain wall system. And so across this, an arched uh, curtain wall system, similar to the one that goes across the Nasher in the Sculpture Garden uh, in, in the Nasher Sculpture Center in Fort Worth. But let's get started then. So let's look at level one. What I want you to realize, I've got a grid line here, B, that defines the south side of this, and A that defines the north side of this. So I'm going to need to now know where those are when I start this. And so let's go in, and I'm going to go into the north, and I'm going to use the B plane. You'll see I'm going to go to the north view. We could start in the south, but that's okay. We'll go north, and then we're going to create a mass. I'll use an in-place mass here. We'll call this roof. And then 3 points. And then I want to start drawing at B. Okay, so I'm going to use the B grid line, the plane that is the vertical plane that's defined by the grid B line, and say okay. And then I'm just going to snap in here to there, snap to there. Come in here, come on. And then get the arc that I want. And of course, I could be more exact about that if I want it to be. And then all I need to do is select that. And I'm going to use finish. Wait, no, first I'm going to create a form, a solid form. And then if I go in my 3D view, you can see I created this solid form right here. That's fine. The shape of it. I'm just going to grab that. Okay. That line right there, and I'm just going to pull it this direction, okay, reverse the extrusion of it. And so now I've got the surface in the location I want. I'll say finish the mass. It's going to give me an error statement saying, well, there's only one surface here, so there's no mass geometry. It's just a mesh geometry. That's fine. I really don't care one way or the other on that issue because all I'm going to do is use that surface. The next thing I'm going to do is go into architecture here, and we're going to use a curtain wall system. And basically all I'm going to do is say create a curtain wall. Depending on what I have loaded in here, there's a 5x10 that's loaded. I'm just going to accept that, and then I'm going to fix it here in a minute. So I'm going to create, I'm going to select that, and then say, oh, you're supposed to select first, and then say create the system. And you'll notice that I changed this 5x10. What I want you to look at here. So what it did is it took that panel and it created whatever was in that type right there. And I had made some changes to it before. So I'm going to select this again and go back here and edit this type and show you the changes that I made to it. I probably should rename this. Okay. Instead of 5x10, it's actually 5x2. Oh. 5 by 2 feet. And so, because what I did here is under grid 1, I changed the fixed distance, okay, to 2 feet instead of 10. And then, so it would have more panes, and so it would be more curved looking. And then, of course, the length of the panes I made 5 feet. And I haven't put any mullions in here. I'm going to select to put those in. But, and then right here, I set this to glazed panel so that the panel would be glass. And then as far as the continuous mullion, I wanted the border on grid 2, in other words, along the 5-foot direction. I wanted that to be, and that border to be continuous rather than broken. So I'm going to apply that, say okay, and so everything should be hunky-dory there. The next thing I'm going to do is put my mullions in. And to do that, I'm going to go into mullions here. And only thing that are loaded right now are these. But let's say that I wanted this to be a 5x10 hollow metal. Okay. So I'm going to go over here to curtain wall mullions, and I'm just going to create a mullion here. So I'm going to say a new type, and I'm going to call that 5 inches by 10 inches. Okay. And I'll open this up, and I've got to change, of course, some things, like its thickness is now not 5 inches, it's 10 inches. And then on each side of, I want it in the centered, so I'm going to make this 2.5 inches on one side of the grid line, and then 2.5 inches on the other side of the grid line. Okay, that'll work. And then I'm going to select, I'm going to come in here and go mullions by grid line. And then I'm just going to select that grid line right there, and it's going to draw me a 5 by 10 mullion there. Oh, so I selected the wrong one. It's like 5 by 10. Okay, let's modify this now. I'm going to need to modify it. I'm going to tab to like grab it. Oh, let's just undo it. That's the simplest way. Okay, and then let's go back to mullions. It's like 5 by 10 this time, and then bam, 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 bam. Okay. So basically what I'm doing is putting arches in there. The mullions representing some kind of structural element. And there's a variety of different ways you could build this. It just depends on aesthetically what you want to achieve. And then the next thing I'm going to do is these lines here, these grid lines here. I'm going to go in, once again, put mullions in those. Here I'm going to use kind of the smallest one, or maybe, yeah, we'll use 1.5 by 2.5. And I'm just going to go boom, 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 boom. And so for all practical purposes, I have, a working design here. I can come back and tweak it, but I've got my geometry in, and I got something to work with here, and I can go from there. So I'm going to finish this video, so that's a glass roof. Once again, you maybe don't want as big of mullions, maybe you want other structure, but we've now got this kind of basics to work with.